there is one last thing we need to go over for section 3.4, and that is to be able to determine the system of inequalities from a real world problem, period. Well, let's just start by doing the thing that we do best. Let's start by highlighting the important information. So it says Angela works 40 hours or fewer per week. Okay, 40 hours or fewer she works per week. That would be nice for me if I could work 40 or fewer. A week. Oh, she does this programming, computers, and tutoring. Okay, she earns $20 per hour programming and $10 per hour tutoring. Angela needs to earn at least $500 per week. Write a system of linear equalities that represents the possible combination of hours spent tutoring and hours spent programming that will meet her needs. Well, now that we have everything highlighted, the important information, we know what we're trying to do. We're trying to just set up the inequality. We're not going to solve it. Just set it up. Let's start by defining our variables. The thing that varies to me when I read this is this Angela person, she does two different things. She computer programs, right? And she tutors. And that's what she can vary each week. She can vary how much she tutors and how much she works on programming. So let's let X be hours tutoring. And let's let Y be hours programming. Okay. Programming. Oh, double M. There's a double M right there. Okay. Now that we have these two things, we need to group them together. And when I read this problem, think of the groups. Each group's going to represent an inequality. Okay. And one group's going to be based around hours. How many hours does she spend programming? So let's let that one be our hours grouping. Okay. That's going to be inequality for that. And the next group is going to be around money made. So let's have one group be around, I got to make at least $500, right? There's two things going on. I'm not going to work more than 40 hours a week, and I got to make at least $500. So let's start on the programming one, or hours one. So she said that she will work no more than 40 hours, right? So if 40 is the biggest it could be, but she could work it. We're going to have 40 is greater than or equal to something. And this something is how many hours she works. Well, then we just have to add these two things. X is hours work tutoring, so we put an X plus our Y. So 40 hours has to be is greater than or equal to hours tutoring and hours programming. So this is our first inequality right here. 40 is greater than or equal to X plus Y. Okay? Now let's look at the money made. Okay? This person, Angela, wants to make at least $500, okay? Because it's at least $500, we know that what she makes, which is over here, has to be 500 or more, okay? So for each hour that she tutors, how much money does she make? She makes $20 per hour programming and $10 per hour tutoring. So each hour she tutors, she makes $10. So that would be like 10x. So if I tutored for 10 hours, I take 10 hours times $10, which would make me $100, right? And for each hour programming, she makes $20. So 20 times the number of hours programming, which is Y, will give us this. And we know that this side, which is how much she's going to make, has to be 500 or equal to it. At least 500 or more. So these are our two inequalities. We got 40 is greater than or equal to X plus Y, and 500 is less than or equal to 10X plus 20Y. There's our system. Just write that in here, and we are done. So yes, this is kind of a complicated idea, or what's going on here, but here are the steps to think about. First, highlight the important information. Second, define the variables. We're going to need the variables down here. Once you define those variables, what you want to do is group up this situation into two different types of inequalities. What are the two things that have limitations? Think about them as limitations. Well, one limitation in our scenario was 40 hours. The other limitation was the $500 per week, okay? And this is going to create one inequality with all the other information, and the 40 hours a week is going to create another inequality with all the other information. And when you put that and piece it all together, take your time, you should be able to get something like this at the end. So that's all we have for 3.4. 3.5 is going to go even a step further. We're going to focus on linear programming, which is actually going to help us maximize problems like this to create maximal profit. or minimal cost.